Hey everyone, welcome back. I know a bunch of you out there have been thinking about building your own gaming PC.
Yeah, it's super tempting, right? But then there's that little voice saying, what if it costs a fortune?
Totally. And that's exactly why we're diving into this awesome guide today. It's all about building a dream gaming PC on a budget.
It's inspiring stuff. This guy Raj actually did it, built his own rig without breaking the bank.
So, no selling a kidney to afford a graphics card.
Huh, nope. Raj proves you can totally achieve awesome gaming performance without spending a crazy amount of money. And in this deep dive, we're going to break down his journey, pull out all the best tips and tricks so you can do the same.
Sounds good to me. So, where do we even begin with something like this? I mean, building a PC, that's got to be complicated, right?
Well, the first step is surprisingly simple, but super important.
Let me guess. Asking your parents for money.
Haha, not quite. It's all about defining your dream, figuring out what kind of gaming experience you're actually aiming for.
Ah, I see.
Mm,
So you don't just dive in and buy the most expensive parts you can find.
exactly. That's a recipe for disaster, especially on a budget. You need a clear goal, and that's where Raj nailed it.
Okay, so what was his dream setup? Was he going for like top of the line 4K gaming with all the bells and whistles?
Nope, he was actually pretty smart about it. He
Uh,
focused on 1080p gaming at medium to high settings.
so not the absolute bleeding edge of graphics, but still really solid performance.
Exactly. And that's key for a budget build. You got to prioritize. Focus on what matters most for the games you want to play.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. But I'm still curious about the actual hardware. Like, what kind of processor did he go with?
Ah, good question. He chose the AMD Ryzen 5 5600X.
Okay, I've heard of Ryzen. They make good stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, the 5600X is a real powerhouse for its price. It punches way above its weight class, offering performance that rivals some much pricier options, perfect for a budget build.
Sweet. What about the graphics card? That's usually the most expensive part, right?
Absolutely. And this is where Raj got really clever. He actually went for a used NVIDIA GTX 1660 Super.
Whoa, hold on. A used graphics card. Isn't that a bit risky? What if it, like, dies on him after a week?
I get the concern for sure. But Raj did his homework. He spent a lot of time researching online marketplaces and forums, making sure he found a reputable seller, checking reviews, seller ratings, all that jazz.
So it's kind of like buying a used car. You got to make sure you're not getting the lemon.
Exactly. There are even entire communities dedicated to helping people find reliable used PC parts. It's a bit of work, but the savings can be huge.
Yeah, I guess if you can save a couple $100, it's worth the extra effort. Okay, so we got the CPU, the graphics card.
Yeah.
What about the other stuff, like the motherboard, RAM, all that jazz?
He kept it smart and budget friendly there too. Opted for a motherboard with room for upgrades down the line. 16 gigabit of RAM, that's a sweet spot for smooth gaming performance. And a 1 TB NVMe SSD.
NVMe, that's the one everyone's talking about, right? The super fast storage.
You got it. They make load times practically vanish, which is a game changer, literally.
Man, I can already picture myself jumping to my favorite games in like seconds.
Okay, so what about the power supply and the case? Did he splurge on a fancy one with all the RGB lighting?
Nah, he kept it practical. Went with a reliable 500W power supply, plenty of juice for his system, and a simple functional case. No need for a flashy case when the real magic is happening inside.
Totally.
It's like a sleeper car. Looks all unassuming, but packs a serious punch under the hood.
You got it.
Okay, so he was strategic with his component choices, but did he just buy everything at full price? Or did he have some tricks up his sleeve?
Oh, this is where his patience really paid off. Raj became a master of deal hunting. Seriously, this guy was scouring online forums,
Yeah.
setting up deal alerts for specific components, and he waited for those big sales events like Black Friday, even checked local stores for clearance items.
That's awesome. I actually do the same thing for like everything. Gotta love a
Yeah.
good bargain hunt. It's like a game in itself.
It totally is. And you can score some insane deals if you put in the effort. Plus, there are websites and communities dedicated to PC building that have real-time deal alerts. Super helpful for budget builders.
Okay, so Raj found his deals, got all the parts. Now comes the part that always intimidated me. Actually putting the PC together. I mean, that's got to be super complicated, right?
You'd think so, but Raj said it wasn't as bad as he imagined. He relied heavily on step-by-step YouTube tutorials. It's amazing how many resources are out there.
Oh yeah, YouTube tutorials are lifesavers. Remember when we built that bookshelf? We'd be lost without those videos.
Totally. And even for something as seemingly complex as a PC, there are tons of guides that walk you through every step.
I'll admit I'd still be nervous about messing something up, like putting the thermal paste on the CPU. That stuff always seems so delicate.
I hear ya. It's like performing brain surgery on a tiny silicon chip.
Exactly. One wrong move and you fried your whole computer.
Haha. Well, maybe not that dramatic, but yeah, applying thermal paste definitely requires a steady hand and a bit of patience. But hey, it's all part of the fun, right? And that little step is crucial for keeping your CPU cool and running smoothly.
Right. No point in skimping on the brain surgery. Okay, so he built the PC, fired it up, and then what?
Well, he didn't just stop there. He knew that to really make the most of his budget build, he had to optimize everything. He dove deep into Windows settings, made sure all his drivers were up to date, and even learned how to safely overclock his components.
Whoa, overclocking. Isn't that risky, like pushing your components too hard and potentially damaging them?
It can be if you're not careful. But with the right research and a bit of caution, you can squeeze out a bit more performance from your components without spending extra cash. It's all about finding that sweet spot where everything runs stable and you get that extra boost.
Okay, I gotta admit, this whole deal hunting thing sounds pretty addictive. But isn't there a risk of, like, getting caught up in the chase and maybe compromising on components you really need?
That's a really good point. It's a tightrope walk, for sure. You gotta balance deal hunting with your overall build goals. Don't compromise on essential components for the sake of a small discount. Prioritize the core elements that will give you the gaming experience you want. Then, look for deals on the rest.
Makes sense. Don't sacrifice performance for a few bucks saved.
Exactly.
So, after all that, did Raj actually achieve his dream gaming setup? Was he able to play his games at 1080p with those sweet medium to high settings?
Oh, absolutely. He was blown away by the performance, especially considering how much less he spent compared to a pre-built system.
That's fantastic. So inspiring to hear that someone can actually pull this off.
Totally. It's a testament to the power of research, planning, and patience.
So let's bring it all back home. What are the key takeaways here for someone who wants to follow in Raj's footsteps and build their own budget gaming PC?
It all boils down to this. Define your dream setup first. Don't just jump into buying parts without a clear goal. Then, choose your components wisely, balancing performance with cost. Hunt down those deals like a digital detective, but don't compromise on essential parts for the sake of a few bucks. And finally, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty with the building process. It's not as scary as it seems.
And remember, there are tons of resources out there to help you along the way. You can absolutely build an amazing gaming PC without emptying your wallet.
Absolutely. This isn't just a pipe dream. It's totally doable. Now that you've seen what's possible, what kind of gaming PC would you build? What games are you most excited to play on your new rig? It's your dream. Make it a reality.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive. See you